So we posted this on the website earlier today. It's on nahant.org. This comes from Fire Chief Antrim. Um, Over the past month, there's been over 200 wildfires in Massachusetts that have burned more than 600 acres. Several large wildfires in Essex County specifically have placed a heavy burden on all of the emergency services in the area. The drought conditions and frequent combination of dry conditions, low humidity, and high winds are maintaining an elevated fire risk in our area. For that reason, the fire department is issuing the following order under authority of section 1010-2 of the Massachusetts Comprehensive Fire Safety Code. Effective immediately, the use of open recreational and cooking fires, including fire pits, chimeneas, and outdoor fireplaces is prohibited until further notice. And cautious use of outdoor gas or propane cooking grills are still permitted at this time. And along with that, the Board of Selectmen's office, Town Administrator's office will not be issuing any beach fire permits until the chief lifts his order. I see
Tony,
Josh. I see Josh on the call.
excuse me for ignoring that with Josh's presence. Josh is sitting in the Pittsburgh airport right now, listening into maybe a half hour of our discussions. And he said he wanted to at least get that amount of time in. So, hi, Josh.
We can't hear you, but we can't hear you. Hold on.
Yeah, so I'm
There you
gonna
are.
mostly stay quiet, but if I can help with the joint vote, and I will, but I gotta drop off probably 6:55-ish.
Okay.
All right, Josh. Tony, quick question about the restriction on fires. Are there any permits that were granted that are pending right now? And if so, are they allowed? They're not allowed to have their fire, right?
No, I don't think there are any.
Okay.
But if there was, we would pull it back.
Yeah, good. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Rob, would you mind taking the announcements?
Absolutely. Be my pleasure, Gene. The compost area is open on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Resident parking sticker required. Visit the Public Works page at nahant.org for a full list of acceptable material. The fall leaf pickup occurs on Monday. Leaves must be in Mondays. Leaves must be in biodegradable bags and to the curb by 7 a.m. Visit the Public Works page at nahant.org for a full list of acceptable material. Town Hall will be closed Monday, November 11th, in observance of the Veterans Day holiday. And that brings us to a joint meeting with the Nahant School Committee.
Do you want to work through that, Rob?
Sure. I'll keep going. Okay, so we're going to have a joint vote to fill the vacant seat on the Nahant School Committee. As a little background, this past September, a school committee member resigned early from their position. The school committee and the Board of Selectmen announced the vacancy in October and opened up a 2-week period for candidates to send in letters of interest for the open seat. We received one letter of interest from the candidate below. Let's see. Subsection C of Section 3-13 of Nahant's Town Charter states that any vacancy of an elective office, with the exception of the Board of Selectmen, shall be filled by a majority vote of the Board of Selectmen and remaining members of the office, board, or committee. The appointment shall be effective only until the next election of the town, at which time the vacancy shall be filled by ballot for the unexpired term of the previously vacant office. First step would be a motion on this, and I will make that motion. I move the Board of Selectmen open the joint meeting with the Nahant School Committee.
Seconded.
Any discussion?
In terms of the candidate, I'd like to make some discussion.
I would just
Maybe do the roll call?
yeah, just to open the meeting
Okay.
first.
Go ahead, Gene.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob
Josh
Tibble,
Pepper,
aye.
aye.
And I see Chairwoman Karas is on. Do you have a quorum as well?
Beth Anderson, School Committee.
Greg Payanessa, School Committee.
And that's all we have, Tony. Unfortunately, Mariana is not able to join us this evening.
Okay, so the three of you are on. So if you, Madam Chair, can just call your meeting to order.
Of course. I call the school committee meeting to order at 6:34 p.m.
Okay, so there you go, Rob. We're open.
Okay. I move the Board of Selectmen and the Nahant School Committee vote to nominate Meredith Thibault for the open seat on the Nahant School Committee.
Seconded.
Second. Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Pepper, aye.
Rob Thibault recuse.
Could I just add to that? I probably should have done it under the discussion phase, but looking at the resume here,
We're in the middle of a vote, Gene. The vote it was a joint meeting, so we need to make sure all the votes are cast, but we're not.
all right, okay, fine.
So we're still waiting for the school committee votes.
So school committee, if you could motion to nominate the candidate and then roll call vote.
I make a motion to nominate Meredith Thibault.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 You need to identify
Do they
yourself.
need to, roll call vote it?
Just
Greg
say your name.
Payanessa.
And- Yeah.
Confirmed. Aye.
Aye. Beth Anderson.
And Patty Karras, aye.
Awesome, thank you.
So now you have it nominated. You can go into discussion now before we make the vote.
Anybody know this person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very well. I've had the pleasure of having Meredith be the teacher to my son, and we got to know each other very, very well. She's a beloved teacher of many Nahant families. And I don't know, Rob, I believe you've had the pleasure of having her as your wife.
I certainly have. And it's been fascinating watching her work. I've never seen more devotion in anybody.
My son also had her as a teacher, and I'll apologize for him for all the snakes that escaped out of the aquarium.
And I was going to add, or attempt to add, that she's got a bag of educational credentials from earning her BA at Wheaton College in biology, Master of Ed at Lesley, Massachusetts teacher licensure, elementary education, Massachusetts teacher licensure, middle school science, lead teacher Periwinkle Preschool in Nahant, and special ed aide at the Bradley School in Swampscott. It's just so great to have somebody coming on the school committee with that kind of an educational background, a teaching background. We're very lucky.
We are very lucky. Thank you, Jean. You summarized that very well.
Thank you.
And for the public, we posted this position about, I would say, almost a month ago now. Had it open for a little over 2 weeks. And I believe Meredith was the only candidate that applied.
True.
And we're appreciative that she did. So with that, we'll now take a vote to appoint.
I move the Board of Selectmen vote to appoint Meredith Thibault to the Nahant School Committee with a term expiring April 26, 2025.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Pepper, maybe, let's see.
Rob Thibault recuse.
And same for the school committee, if you guys could do the same thing.
Of course. Patty Karas, aye.
Actually, if you can make a motion and then go through the vote.
Okay, I will make another motion to appoint Meredith Thibault to the school committee. Roll call vote.
Beth Anderson, aye.
Greg Payne, aye.
Patty Karas, aye.
All right, well, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you, Meredith, for, I don't see her on the call. I'd give her the opportunity.
I will apologize for her absence. We just brought our dog home. She had 11 teeth pulled, and right now she's focused on that.
Okay,
Oh, well, I will reach out to her. I'm sorry. Thank you all this evening. I really appreciate the time. And I hope that the dog is doing better, Rob.
I do too. Thank you.
Best wishes to the puppy. Thank you.
Bye-bye,
Good luck
everybody.
sleeping tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to continue there?
Okay, motion to close the joint meeting. I move the Board of Selectmen close the joint meeting with the Nahant School Committee.
I'll second it.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Rob Thibault, aye. Moving on to new business. We have a vote to surplus the police department generator. I'll make the motion. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to declare the Nahant Police Department Generac generator as surplus on it and it be placed on municipal bid for auction per Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, Procurement Law.
Second,
As discussion, the generator was installed in 2012. However, it did not power the entire building during a power outage. The machine also failed to turn on 2 years ago when the town experienced a long-term outage. The life expectancy is 10 to 12 years on that model. It was time to replace the generator as the police department is used for the emergency operations center for the town during all events. The new generator is slated to last 15 to 20 years and now powers the entire building during outages. Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Rob Thibault, aye. We have a one-day liquor license that we need to approve. It's for a wine tasting event on Sunday, November 10th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Nahant Life Saving Station. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve a one-day wine malt liquor license to Emily Potts for a wine tasting event on Sunday, November 10th, 2024, from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. at the Nahant Life Saving Station.
Okay, second.
For discussion, this event is open to the public for people 21 years and older. All liquor and food will be provided and served by Brett Henry Catering. Roll call vote.
I also
Okay,
see
never mind.
Emily is on the call.
Yeah.
Emily, did you have anything you wanted to add to the discussion? I know the request came from you.
It did come from me. This is for the Nahant Preservation Trust. We're having a little fundraiser and inviting people to come, and there will be wines to taste and a possibility of ordering it right there and having it delivered to Nahant.
Oh,
And
nice.
we're looking forward to having everybody.
That's excellent.
Very good. Anything further? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye.
Rob Thibault, aye.
I'm gonna break in the action here. I'm gonna excuse myself, so I'll see you all later.
Thanks for joining us, Josh.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Have a good flight.
Yep,
Thank you.
safe flight.
And thank you all very much.
Thank you, Emily. Next, we have a vote to approve meeting minutes by the Board of Selectmen. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from September 18th, 2024, October 2nd, 2024, and October 16th, 2024.
You catching up. Seconded.
Discussion. Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. Next, we have a vote to approve an event request for the PTO Christmas tree sales. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Nahant Johnson School PTO Christmas tree sales at the Lowlands parking lot beginning November 30th, 2024 to December 21st, 2024, or until trees are sold out. Hours of sale will be Wednesday to Friday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Second,
Discussion. Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. In ongoing business, we have the short-term rental fee schedule update. As far as history, no public comments were received regarding the proposed short-term rental fees. In October, we opened up a 2-week public comment period for people to send in comments and questions about the proposed short-term rental fees. Comments and questions were due in by November 1st. The proposed fees were included in your, never mind. And a copy is available on the short-term rental landing page at nahant.org. Do we want to take a vote on this tonight, Tony?
We didn't receive any comments, so I think we should take the vote.
Okay.
Unless the board has any input. I mean, we went through a lengthy discussion on it when we presented them. And I think, I'd like to get it done so we can update the fee schedule, and Dan and I have a call. Dan, we have a call with Cloud Permit this
Tomorrow,
week.
11 o'clock.
Tomorrow at 11. This is a permitting software company that we're going to be utilizing to help us with the permitting process of short-term rentals. And it'd be nice to be able to, have that fee schedule approved so we can include that in, our discussions as they start to put together the program for us.
Okay.
That sounds good.
So I move that we vote to accept the short-term rental fee schedule as submitted for public approval without change.
Just a quick question before I second it. Everybody's had the opportunity to see this in one form or another, whether social media or website in the town hall, or in meetings such as we're conducting tonight. Is that so?
Correct.
Okay, second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. Next on the list is an update on the Coast Guard housing. And
Yes,
we're going to
thank
hear
you.
Okay.
Lisa Scortis, our listing agent, is on the call as well. So I'll let Lisa give an update on, from her perspective, all the, her experience thus far. Her and I talk probably multiple times a day, every day at this point. So I could probably tell you what she's going to say. But as far as an update goes from the town's, from the sale process, Lot 1 was closed on. Lot 3 was closed on this morning. On Friday, lot number 7 received a qualifying bid. So we provided a notice of award to that bidder, and we're going through the purchase and sale document now. And today we had a qualifying bid for lot number 9. It was $502,250, I believe the number was. So a little, just a 2,000 over asking. And it's a qualifying order, so I'll be sending out a notice of award tomorrow and then working with them on a purchase and sale agreement. So that's 4 lots, which if should those close, all of those close, we've met our initial mark of the $1.8 million. We have another bid tomorrow at 12:30 for lot number 5, and then we have another bid on Friday at 12:30 for lot number 11. And then after Friday, we're going to put the sale process on hold until mid-January, late January, as we look at the market. We're going to try and restart the process after the calendar year, after the holiday season. Both of the most recent bids were out-of-town residents, and I'll say without a listing agent and getting them on MLS, those offers I don't think those offers would have ever came into the town. And I know especially with the lot from Friday, the bidder was from out of state. And I know Lisa worked really hard with them to get them comfortable and prepared to submit a bid. So, having Lisa on board to help us with this process is already, I think, paid off, and will continue to do so. So Lisa, if you want to come off mute, I thought it would be helpful to have you on as a real estate professional to maybe just talk briefly about, what we're going through and how we have the lots priced and what you're hearing out there, or, anything of the like.
We're definitely on the right track now. Going off island to market is the best thing that we did, honestly. So lot 7 sold to a buyer from Nevada, sight unseen. And the way that was accomplished was I had been working with this buyer for 6 months prior, trying to find him a home here in Nahant, and nothing suited his needs. He's 74 years old, looking for an age-in-place housing, meaning accessible first floor living area. And the lots came up because now that they're public, he explored the option, and I was able to walk him through the whole process. I hired an aerial drone photographer, and it was through that drone video that we were able to walk through the whole process with him, second by second on that video. It was kind of interesting. Technology is a beautiful thing. So he's from Nevada, and he came out here on Sunday just as the last resort, just to make sure. He had already purchased the property, got his bid accepted on Friday. But he just wanted to see it, feel it, and be here. He's never been to Nahant before. So he purchased the property, and I'm happy to say, upon his arrival and his inspection of his purchase, he was pleasantly surprised and pleased. It was everything he was sold and exceeded his expectations. So, but now that we're marketing off island, I've gotten quite a flurry of activity. It does take a while though for people. Not everybody's walking around with $500,000 cash in their back pocket. So it does take time to ramp up for them to get all their finances in order. They have to consult with their accountant, their financial advisor. Sometimes they have assets that they have to liquidate or at least draw from. So it does take some time. The bid today was also a buyer of mine, and that went through fine, and I think she's okay. I think lot 5 we might have some difficulty with, only because it's kind of an odd lot. Size-wise, it has a lot of restrictions for the building envelope because it's pretty narrow. For anyone looking to build I have to say, just to back up a bit, the majority of the buyers, I think the ideal buyer for these lots, a lot of them are age in place housing end user buyers. And because there's such old housing here, most of them are multi-level. This is an opportunity for them to build the house to their specific needs. And lot 5, we might have some difficulty with because it's just an odd lot. For a ranch, you can't get the size of a footprint that you need to do a ranch. What I've suggested to people is to do a Cape style house. I've been in contact with all sorts of builders, stick built, factory built, the whole array. Price point from 200 square feet, $200 per square foot to $450 a square foot. So I'm offering them up these resources for them to explore. But lot 11, I think, is very marketable. There's several interested parties. I think we're gonna have bids on lot 11. And then after that, I'm not real optimistic about 5 because it is a funky lot. But if we're gonna put that back into the queue in January, Tony, I think ultimately that they're all gonna sell. The values have now been validated by the sold sales, because those are now effectively comparables for any of these lots. There was talk about the lots not having value above 350,000. Obviously, that dialogue is history, as witnessed by now 2, soon to be 3 and 4 closed sales. And I think we're on our way to completing this project in a positive way. And I think it's all good for the town. I spend a lot of time with my clients, and I try to determine if I have multiple clients, what's the best client that's going to get us to the closing table, and which client is going to be best in the best interest of the town. So I enjoy doing this job. I love my job. And I want what's best for our community as a taxpayer and as a professional. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. And, thank you, even before coming on officially as our listing agent, for all the hours you volunteered helping, and, you've been consistent with that comment of, you want to see what's best for the town.
I do.
That,
Yeah.
I think means a lot to the board and I and the residents, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lisa, Tony's talked a lot about your guidance and how helpful it's been. So again, my thanks also that you're just what we needed to get this rolling.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you. Thank you, Jean.
And so with that, last week, the Board of Selectmen voted to request special legislation to be filed to amend the term date or the end date of the existing loan due January 10th. That process is still ongoing. I have a call. What's today? I have a call tomorrow with our state delegation to explain to them where we're at. Again, since we're trending in the direction of not needing the special legislation. However, until the lots close, we're going to stay on this path and remain still look at other options that we might need to consider. But so far so good, and we have a finance committee meeting tomorrow night where I'll explain a little bit more in depth to the finance committee. Any questions on anything else related to Coast Guard housing?
I have none.
I'm all set, Tony.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. Town administrators report.
Okay, well, first, I think we missed, and I don't think we meet before next week, so next week on the 11th is Veterans Day, and as you mentioned, I think you mentioned that we'll be closed that day.
Yes.
But we're also going to be putting out, the rest of this week and leading up to the event is a lot of information, because this year's Veterans Day ceremony, instead of it being at Veterans Park on Ward Road, it's actually going to take place in front of at the Wharf entrance intersection, the Wharf and Willow Road. It's a special event this year where we are going to be having our typical Veterans Day ceremony at 11 a.m. But we'll also be there to dedicate the square in the name of James J. Devereaux Jr., who served in World War II and actually was killed in action during the Battle of the Bulge. So it's a unique event for this year's Veterans Day. Hopefully we get a good crowd, really, and good weather. It's a special moment for the Devereaux family, for all veterans, and for our town. So the 11th at 11 at the intersection of the Wharf, and then following the ceremony, the American Legion at the life-saving station will have a reception. So please attend if you're around. A quick update on paving. So last week, or at our last regularly scheduled meeting, I stated that our paving was scheduled for the last week of October. The contractor was held up, and my update is that they will be here on Monday of next week, starting Monday next week. This is for patchwork for the gas and water work that was completed earlier this year. So the left side of Emerald Road, Fox Hill Road, Little Nahant, Castle Road, all that work will be should be starting next week. And then for Emerald Road specifically, our plan, the reason Emerald Road got gas work out of schedule was because Emerald Road is on our paving schedule for the spring. So usually, National Grid and works with the town with our paving schedule. And what we try to do is, when we have a road that we're planning on paving in the next year or two, National Grid will come in and do whatever, repairs they need to do. We'll try to do any type of water, sewer, or stormwater work that's necessary so that the road, once paved, hopefully doesn't need to be opened, afterwards. So in the spring, Emerald Road is on the schedule for a full pavement from curb to curb with sidewalks. So it'll just, for now, because the condition, is so bad, we want to get that travel lane on the left side done before the winter.
Tony, who's responsible for the cost on this? Is it a combination? Is it National Grid? Is it the town?
It depends. So National Grid is responsible for the paving, specifically when they are doing a gas job that doesn't coincide with our paving schedule. So that covers Little Nahant. Wilson Road is not on the paving schedule, but it needed to be repaired so bad that National Grid went in, so they cover that cost completely. Emerald Road, they're contributing to the cost of this patch job that's going to happen next week. but we also included it in our contract with Grenice, who did the water work on Emerald Road. So this patchwork is in part paid for through National Grid and through the town because of the water work that we did there.
Okay.
And then Fox Hill Road and Castle Road, that was water and stormwater work done by the town, so that's covered by us.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome. Pickleball courts, lighting project started Monday. So they're moving right along. The bases for the lights are already in. We don't expect that project to last more than 2 weeks. So it should be done by the end of next week. And then I also just wanted to mention, we created 2 committees a couple meetings ago. One was a right-of-way committee, which is has an open space committee appointment, has a planning board appointment, and a town administrator appointment. So if anyone, for the town administrator appointment, if anyone out there is interested in joining that committee, please submit a letter or an email of interest to ktaylor@nahant.org. And we also created the Public Safety Building Committee with appointments, 2 town administrator appointments there. I'm looking for another candidate for that as well. So again, if you're interested in the Public Safety Building Committee, please submit an email of interest to ktaylor@nahant.org. Other things on my list, we have the Community Preservation Committee is going through their process. Their first due date of an application is November 21st. So we are working to put our applications together to submit by the 21st. We're also working on, we're trying to make progress on, as we mentioned earlier, the short-term rental software for permitting, and we're water meters. We're in the process of evaluating different water meter opportunities out there. We've talked to a few different companies so far, and we're working on procurement for that, so we can get that process going. And just since we talked about paving too, Zach, myself, Vicky, our project manager, and Allison met last week to kind of go through all the larger capital projects, including paving, water, stormwater, those types of projects planned for next year, and putting together a schedule of procurement and or any type of potential funding requests that we might need for next town meeting. So we're in that process as well. And that's all I have.
That's it. Citizens Forum.
Tom, just to say,
Oh, go ahead.
no, just not for discussion tonight, but are we making any progress on my pet peeve there, the air quality issue and the Kings Beach?
We not anything from the last meeting.
Okay.
To recap the last meeting, we've had discussion with the mayor and Lynn. They're slated to put out an update, I think, very soon. We've expressed our interest in being part of that task force and what our concerns are. And as far as air quality goes, that is a rolling grant application process. So what we're doing is we're looking into the grant that Swampscott applied for to see if we can apply and potentially regionalize, present it as a regional approach with Swampscott,
Perfect. Yeah.
to monitor air quality in the area.
We could at least get that going. I was kidding with somebody. I said, it's only 8 months until summer. So this thing's going to move along quickly, especially the Kings Beach project. If we can just be a part of, it might be helpful.
Yep.
That's it. Citizens forum? Do we have anybody out there, Tony?
No, if anyone wants to contribute to the Citizens Forum, just unmute yourself, state your name and address.
George Mahovan.
Yes, good evening, George Mahoban, 64 Lennox Road in the hot Mass. I had to walk away for a minute when you were talking about repaving some of the roads around Big Nahant. Did you mention Little Nahant at all as far as Wilson Road goes? I know you said last time when we
Yeah,
talked, you said it was gonna end. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
They were supposed to be out here last week. The contractor got held up. He's gonna be coming in next week, starting Monday. I know he's gonna start on Emerald Road, and he's got Little Nahant Wilson Road and the side streets that were affected by that gas job, as well as Fox Hill Road and Castle Road.
Okay, now can we also get something in the works to get that crosswalk back at the bottom of the public stairs?
Yeah, we're gonna follow, once he does that patchwork, we'll paint the crosswalk.
Great, thank you very much.
Yep.
Anyone else?
Seeing none, hearing none?
Okay.
You want to read that last statement?
Yep, is a motion to adjourn to executive session. I move the Board of Selectmen vote to adjourn to executive session pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, Northeastern University Marine Science Center, 430 Nahant Road, Nahant, and to discuss pending litigation strategy regarding the town of Nahant versus one Coast Guard housing tenant. If the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body. Gene, you want to grab that last sentence?
The chair does so find that an open meeting would have a detrimental effect.
Discussion? Oh, I second, Gene, you got to second it.
Second,
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Rob Tibbo, aye. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Tony, you passing us through?
Yep, hold on one sec here.